All right, we have 5 stocks to cover that I'm buying now that are all oversold. I mean, every stock at this point is oversold, guys. So I want to break down the charts where I bought these stocks, where I plan on buying more, as I don't know, a little birdie on my shoulder is telling me the sell off is not over yet. So I want to break down everything, entry point levels I'm looking at, overall my plan with these stocks. But first, hit the like button. Don't forget to take a sip of your coffee as well, guys. You're going to need it for this video. Make sure to subscribe as well. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And with that being said, let's dive into it. So everybody knows at this point we are getting hit across the board, and Robinhood is pulled up here. I'm not buying Robinhood stock right now, guys. I don't know why Robinhood stock is pulled up here, but let me show you these indexes. We all know we're in free fall. SPY completely broke through 538 last week, which was the main support from September, and we filled the gap down to 505 essentially in that same day, in one day, where we had the S&P go down 6%, which was Friday. We had the NASDAQ down over 6%. Russell got hit. Dow got hit. You guys know that at this point, right? And the crazy thing is, again, we filled this gap from 538 to 505 in a day on SPY, and QQQ did the same thing. Filled that gap in a day from the low from September. We hit, where do we hit? 445 in September. That was the low. And we hit about 420 back in early August, which we filled that gap down in a day. And with that, well, a lot of stocks are getting demolished. And there's only a handful, literally, on my watch list, barely any that have held up during this crash. A lot of them obviously are down big time. So let me just run through this list of stocks that I'm buying literally right now. Not that I'm planning on buying. Well, I guess I am planning on buying more of these if the sell-off gets worse, which, again, I think there's a decent chance it does. But I'm actually buying these now. I bought pretty much all these in the last week, right? So number one is Amazon. Amazon is ticker symbol AMZN for those that don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure all of you know Amazon's ticker symbol at this point, but this is a stock I started buying in 2022. Do you guys remember the big bear market? Well, I don't even want to say big bear market, but it was a decent bear market in 2022. We had a lot of stocks go down, Amazon being one of them, and it got all the way down to $81 per share. That was actually in the beginning of 2023, so by then it was just destroyed, right? And I was buying in the tail end of 22, I believe. I was buying in the 90, 95, 80, 85 range. That's where I really started building out my Amazon position, and you guys can see it got all the way to $242, and I didn't lock in profits as this is a long-term investment. All of these, for that matter, that we're going to talk about are long-term investments, and this is one of those stocks that I deem a winner, right? And what do I talk about here on the channel all the time? I reward my winners, and I'm quick to cut my losses or my losers, because the reality is we all pick losing stocks, and the quicker you realize that, the better off you're going to be. The quicker you realize what losers or what the losers are in your portfolio, and Amazon definitely is not one of them. So I actually averaged up on this stock. That's what I also believe in. If I pick a winning stock, great company, I'm not scared to average up on it. So I averaged up on it. I was buying in the 130s, 150s. I held it a little bit there. And now, well, I think I actually bought more on this dip here earlier in 2024. Well, I guess in August 24, more in the latter half of the year. But either way, I was buying this thing all the way up, and now I'm looking to beef up the position even more. In fact, I bought more last week. I started nibbling a little bit more at $180. Now we're at 170. We actually got down to the low mid 160s. And if we get more retaliation from, let's say, the EU, maybe the China tariffs get worse, their retaliatory tariffs, if we get lower stock prices this week, which I think is a decent chance, we see that, we might be going back down under 170 on Amazon, and that's where I'm looking to buy a ton more. Again, I just nibbled a little bit more this past week, but this window right here between 150 to 152 up to about 170, that's the next gap here that could fill to the downside, being 150 being the low from early August. If we do get down there, guys, I'm going to be buying Amazon hand over fist. So I just think this company, it's trading at a decent valuation, growing company. Amazon's obviously not going anywhere. They have their hands in many different businesses within the business. So I'm super bullish on Amazon. It's down. It's one of those stocks where it's like, all right, if it's down 20, 30% or more from all-time highs, I'm pretty much averaging in no matter what, unless obviously the business is changing, the management, blah, 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 which in this case, that's not the case. So that's number one. Nvidia, obviously, we talk about a lot. I'm buying this one hand over fist at this point, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. It's pretty obvious. We covered it in my video a couple of days ago. I'm buying Nvidia. Yeah, newsflash, right? It is down 40% from all-time highs, and right now we're testing the lows from early August, being $90, $92 a share, and guys, if we take that out, we might be going low mid 80s. That's the reality here. We're already so beaten up. What's another $5, $10 to the downside, right? I mean, look, we're at the bottom of this channel, which we covered before. We kind of predicted this, right? I told you guys, look, we mentioned this when the stock was at 100, 102 bucks. We said if we take out the low from earlier in March, which at that time was 100, 102, I said, look, if we take that out, we're probably going down low 90s, and lo and behold, here we are. Here we are. So I think Nvidia is a good buy here. I bought more at $93 on Friday, so I think it's a great buy here, but I'm going to unload the boat or load the boat if it gets down even further here. I think if we take out 90 bucks, which let me draw this trend line out to give you a better visual, we could be finding our way anywhere from $75 on the lower end, $75 being support from a year ago back in April of last year. That could be where it goes, maybe to $80 as well. So this sell-off, guys, I know it's down 40% on Nvidia. It's down 40% already. This sell-off could accelerate. It really could from this point, and I don't think it's going to last much longer, at least on this stock. If we get down to 75, 80, that's almost like a fire sale on Nvidia. I don't know how long that is going to last before we get at least a sharp snapback rally, so be ready to pounce, or at least that's what I'm doing. I'm getting ready to pounce. You guys, of course, can do whatever you want. And AMD is NVIDIA's competitor, right? One of them at least. This is another one that I'm buying right now. I bought more on Friday at about 85-ish, $86 a share, in that ballpark. And I'm down on this. I'm down on this position, right? I'll be honest, and NVIDIA I'm slightly down on as well, but AMD might be one of my worst holdings right now, total unrealized loss-wise, but you don't actually book a loss until you hit that sell button, guys, and I'm not hitting that sell button. I'm hitting that buy button. Like I said, I just bought more at $85, $86, and I think my average now is like 110 on AMD, so it's not awful. I know some people's is probably worse than that, but ideally during this drop, crash, whatever you want to call it, I want to get the average cost under $100, and at this rate, I might be able to do exactly that. So AMD, I think, is a great value. It's underlooked right now in terms of chip stocks in general, and there's a lot of chip stocks, a lot of competition for sure. but I think AMD is a solid value. Ultimately, I can see the stock being 150 to 200 bucks one day again, no problem. But the question is when, right? When is that going to be? It might take a little bit, probably a couple of years on this thing, but that is what I'm in these stocks for. Long-term investments. These aren't quick fixes. I'm not buying these to get rich next week. These are for longer-term holds, and I think AMD is going to be it's going to be a good play, at least in my humble opinion. So Google is number 4. And by the way, guys, join my free email list. Forgot to mention that. I send out my top stocks every single week in a stock newsletter type format. So make sure to join that. It is linked right down below. So Alphabet, Google, ticker symbol GOOG. This one just took out the lows from September. Now we're in the mid 140s, and we're pretty much in, I don't want to say fire sale territory yet, but man, we are getting close. This stock's down 30%, so it's in a bear market, no doubt, like a lot of these big tech stocks are. And this thing is getting awfully close to load the boat territory, in my opinion. I mean, Google, there's a lot of heat from ChatGPT, no doubt about it, but Google is still a massive, profitable business. Nobody's denying that, and there's a bright future ahead for the company. They have AI of their own. They have cloud. They have advertising, still the biggest search engine. And guys, they have YouTube, where you're watching this video. If you're watching it on YouTube, YouTube is so valuable. This business in and of itself, who knows what it's worth? It could be worth $750 billion, $1 trillion, $500 billion, depending on who you're talking to, right? Google is very valuable, and it's not going anywhere. So I'm buying this stock, and I'm pretty sure the PE on Google, it could be under 20 at this point, which is just mind-blowing. Nvidia's forward PE is getting close to 20. It might go under 20 soon here. I mean, these valuations are getting pretty nutty. And if you're buying when others are fearful, which obviously others are fearful right now, you are going to be in a good position. So Google, I'm buying this stock. No doubt I'm going to be buying it this week for sure, especially if we get lower here on these prices. And last but not least, guys, and I appreciate you all for tuning in. Hit that like button for sticking on throughout this video. Don't forget to subscribe, by the way. We're on the road to 100,000 subs here on YouTube. The last stock on the list is CrowdStrike, which is now down $140 or $30 from the recent high. We hit 457. Now we're at 318. We're down about 30%. And this is one I started buying over this past summer. After the IT outage, I started buying at 230, 235, 250 in that range. And I bought the dip recently, the first big dip we had. We went from 457 down to 303. I bought it at 305. I added more. And now we're at 318. We're getting pretty close to double dip here, and maybe even take out 300. If things get really ugly on CrowdStrike, guys, and overall in the stock market, this could take 300 out. And that's where I'm looking to buy even more CrowdStrike. So I'm not going too crazy on this one. It's not my biggest position by any means. I mean, this and AMD are my two smallest holdings out of these 5 that we talked about. But it's still a stock I love, guys, and I'm looking to buy more, especially in that 275 range, 300 range. I'll be buying more CrowdStrike. So overall, those are 5 oversold stocks I'm buying right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Run the likes up. Again, don't forget to subscribe. Join that free email list. That's down below. And check out my Patreon if you guys want to see what I'm doing with my portfolio in real time. That is linked down below. And with that being said, cheers. I'll catch you guys in the next video.